I have done so many men's conference over the 3 decades of talking about sex, men, and God, and have seen so many men walking into a healthier sexuality, regardless of whether they were abused, whether they were addicted. They were able to walk out and be free and become strong men. And I love that. I love the resurrection life that we all get to participate in. And sometimes it takes some wisdom to walk out of it. Now, I want to talk about the third A that we talk about in Sex, Men, and God, because this is also something that can destroy the sexuality of the person and the other person in the marriage. Now, intimacy anorexia, and you might need to go Google this term, but intimacy anorexia is the active withholding of spiritual, emotional, and sexual intimacy from your spouse. Everyone else thinks you're wonderful, and you go home and your spouse feels married and alone. And now, some of these characteristics of being intimacy anorexic, so stay with me, I'm going to go fast. They're too busy for you. They blame you. They withhold love from you, especially the way you want to be loved. They withhold spiritually from you. They withhold sex or are disconnected during sex with you. They're unwilling to share their feelings. They use anger and silence as a way to control in the relationship. They have ongoing and ungrounded criticism of you. Sometimes they control our money, but you will feel married and alone. And you might be a man married to a woman like that as well. You could both be like that. I've had many cases where one or both were intimacy anorexics. And this is a part of misunderstanding how to drive your car. Now, if you're withholding intimacy from your wife, emotionally, spiritually, or sexually, you are participating in what we call the sin of withholding. And you can get more information on that on the website. You are in pain, okay, if you're an intimacy anorexic, but your spouse is experiencing the real brunt of your pain from your neglect. Our research shows depression, weight gain, lower self-esteem, PTSD symptoms, and even more from the women, and I would say even men, but research is for women who live with an intimacy anorexic, who's withholding intimacy, not just sexuality, sensuality, romance, connection, just being around you instead of with you. And so many couples have one spouse starving the other. And this use of your sexuality and the heart by staying married to yourself instead of really being committed and connected to them, this is riveting pain for the other person. And it really is something that can be cured and helped. Okay, Sex, Men, and God is a good start, but you might want to look up intimacy anorexia if that is something you're struggling with, because your spouse is in pain and you're in pain. And there's so much more that you can do in this. Now, I want to share a scripture with you. Okay, you've heard this scripture many, 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 many times, but I want to relate it to our topic. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Now, today in our topic with Sex, Men, and God, we talked about the 3 A's. If you've been sexually abused, I want to be really perfectly clear, there's freedom. I've experienced sexual abuse. I had to work through that, and I use the same tools that are in Sex, Men, and God. And if you want to set the men free who've been sexually abused, give them an opportunity to know that there is freedom, that they didn't cause it. They're not responsible for the bullet, but you are responsible to take the bullet out of your being. Okay? You know, when people, for over 25 years, people have been flying from all over the country and world to come see me, and we take bullets out the first couple days, whether they've been emotionally abused, physically abused, or sexually abused. Okay, whether they've been abused by their spouse, whatever the wound is. Because if we can have a tool that says, here's your bullet, here's how you take it out, then the soul, the spirit, and the body can heal, and you don't act wounded, and you're not vulnerable to people that are looking for wounded people. So where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Now, this is not just Jesus the head, where, hey, I'll tell Jesus, he knows everything. No, healing's in the body. Confessing your faults one to another. If you don't go to the body, you probably won't heal. And so you need to understand that, because so many Christians struggle because of pride. You had nothing to do with this. You have nothing to be ashamed of. And if you're a woman struggling in this area, talk to a woman. Get into a spiritual leader and find out what resources you can do as well. Now, the same tools work for men or women. That's in the book. The book was designed specifically for men. Now, in the second A, we talk about addiction. Jesus has millions of testimonies of setting the captives free. whether it's alcohol, drugs, sex, food, work, pornography, entertainment, internet, gaming, video gaming. Doesn't matter what the addiction is. When the Spirit of the Lord comes into that place, now again, Jesus is head and body. So if you have a secret addiction, you have an addiction. Your addiction can't heal until we bring it to the light. And the way we bring it to the light is confessing our faults one to another. Because there, where two or more are gathered in my name, in that restoration kind of heart, there I am. And where Jesus is, there is freedom. Now, it will be a process. Addictions are, sometimes you get instantly delivered. That's great. I got instantly delivered from alcohol and drugs. My sex addiction stayed, and I had to go through the process of accountability and honesty and work a lot of the exercises that are on our website. Okay? Anorexia. If you're in intimacy anorexia, there's freedom for you too, but you're going to have to be honest that you're withholding. And if you're married and alone, you're going to be honest that you're starved, that you feel deprived, neglected, and you're going to need to take steps to open that up to someone of the same gender. And if you do, you can start healing. See, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. It doesn't matter where you start. Oh my gosh, many of you know my story. I was, conceived in adultery, abandoned, abused, sex addict, alcoholic, drug addict, all these things. And so I started really behind the curve. But the Spirit of the Lord was in every one of those places for me, and He will be in every one of those places for you.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.